Another round of damaging thunderstorms, including a tornado potential as well as damaging wind, is on the way. Areas of ice through the upper Midwest across the Great Lakes will cause wintry travel conditions. Bullseyes of snow cover the west, this time Utah, Arizona, as well as California. And heavy rainfall continues along the California coast. Let's discuss this in today's Daily Shower. We're going to be worried about the following dates: February 27th, the 28th, then March 1st, and I'm going to take you all the way into next week as well with some of the hazards on the way to keep on your radar. That's straight ahead in today's Daily Shower. Let's begin with the severe weather impact. Today's risk of severe weather has shifted from Oklahoma, primarily centered on Oklahoma City, and it is now moved and primarily focused on Cincinnati. But areas from Milwaukee to Chicago, close to Nashville, north of Atlanta, outside Norfolk, D.C., Philly, and Buffalo, this whole area has a potential for some severe thunderstorms during Monday afternoon, Monday evening, into early Tuesday morning. A bit quieter in the severe weather department for Tuesday, but then again on Wednesday we'll start to see the chances increase across the south from Dallas to Atlanta and Nashville down to Jackson, and some pockets out west may see some strong thunderstorms as well. Let's turn now to snowfall. Big headlines here with California having historic snows, in some cases the first blizzard warnings ever issued by the San Diego National Weather Service office. The snow is primarily focusing off to the west, but there's some snow to come through with that ice that's across the north. Let's focus on a couple of bullseyes here. Out to the west primarily. Here is California from Crescent City down to the south, and parts of the Sierras will once again top 4 feet of snowfall, and that's just through Wednesday. Change our map view. Let's get into Utah and Arizona. So here's the Wasatch Range from just outside of Logan all the way down to the south. We're going to be looking at 1.5 feet, close to 2 feet of snowfall, and down to the south near Cedar City and just to the east of, we're going to be looking at around 27 to 30 inches of total snowfall. Quite impressive there. Along with the snow across the north will come a bit of icing. So these green shades, that is the freezing rain potential through Wednesday, and it's going to lead to these travel impacts. Certainly I-94 throughout North Dakota into Minnesota, parts of I-35, all the Northeast will have some impacts. All of Michigan will have impacts. You head out to the west, and we have I-80 with some issues as it goes out into California. 15, 40, 70, all of those will have travel impacts, especially throughout any high country areas. Flyers flying in out of hubs like Seattle or Portland, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, Salt Lake City, Denver. Some of these areas may have travel impacts, wind particularly for the Denver area. Now as you look at Minneapolis, potential flight impacts there due to freezing rain. New York City up to Boston, those kind of locations with winter weather may expect some flight delays. Now let's focus on the total wet weather. We've got a lot of wetness out to the west, obviously, and a lot of wetness off to the east. So off to the east, Nashville to Knoxville today, we're looking at anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and those totals will continue over the next couple of days. Now as you look out to the west, bullseyes here across the Rocky Mountains, mostly in the mountains themselves for the higher totals, but coastal areas from San Mateo, San Jose to Monterey, all the way down to the south, Santa Barbara, LA, and the mountains surrounding LA, and the mountains down close to San Diego will have another 2 inches easy on the way. Now let's get into the hazards we're expecting for next week. So we focused on 3 days. Let's get into next week. And first off, the wet weather primarily stays off to the west as well as to the east. A very wet signal here off to the east. The Ohio and Tennessee valleys, the mid-Mississippi Valley out into the Osage country. And over the next week, we're expecting more than 3 inches of total rain in pockets here. And obviously, I just mentioned the wet weather does continue off to the west too. But impactful rain areas for March 4th to the 8th is out to the west. From the 5th to the 10th remains here around the Tennessee Valley and mid-Mississippi. So wet weather does continue. Impactful snowfall areas on the way. Let's just go coast to coast here. From the 4th to the 8th for the Cascades and the Sierras. The 4th to the 8th for the Rockies. The 4th to the 10th for the Northern Plains, the upper Midwest. A lot of snowfall possible there. And a slight risk of heavy snowfall on the 4th from areas from the mid-Atlantic and the south all the way up into New England. So some impactful snowfall areas highlighted there. As far as the cold, we're looking all the way through the 10th of March and beyond for cold weather to stay kind of posed there over the west and over the northern high plains as well. And more wind events are on the way too. The 4th to the 6th for the west coast, the 4th through the 10th for a great big portion here, the central and northern plains of the Midwest and Great Lakes, and around the 4th with that wintry weather mix that's going to be expected throughout New England. That's today's Daily Shower. Covers quite a bit. A lot of headlines to grab your attention and things to watch out for over the days and the weeks ahead. Matt Makens here. That's the data as I see it. Blessings to you and yours.